time to thank the sponsors that make college sports today with Spurrier, bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida, and of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell can be found up and down the Northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development, go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvell, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. As always, thanks to the head ball coach, Coach Steve Spurrier, boy, a vital member of our team here on College Sports Today as we come to you from Coach Spurrier's podcast room right inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Open for brunch now, Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 3. Note that down if you're in the area. Special thanks to our wonderful major sponsors, including our title sponsor. You see that logo right on the screen, the Allen Law Firm. Accidents, injuries, anything that you or somebody you know, unfortunately, if you've been in today. Also want to thank Robert Lynn and all the good folks at Future Home Loans, the #1 mortgage brokerage company in the Southeast. They are in 7 states and growing, over 2,000 5-star reviews. They really know what they're doing with your major purchase. The purchase of a home, refinancing a home, very major purchase, probably the biggest thing you'll ever do in your life. Make sure you go with the right people to set up your situation financially with the proper lender. They've got relationships with so many lenders, and that is very important, getting set up with the proper lender that fits your financial situation. They do that and do it all the time, and they can do it for you. Contact Future Home Loans. A couple things to get to as we get out of here. Week 11 in the books. College football playoff poll will come out tomorrow night, as always, on Tuesday. Shouldn't be any change at the top. Again, Georgia, Bama, Oregon, Ohio State. Again, it is unique, though, how this thing could play out. If that is the Final Four, Alabama would have to beat Georgia in Atlanta. Georgia, with one loss then, would certainly get in. If that happened, if Alabama beats Georgia in Atlanta, and the Final Four is Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, all 4 of those teams, they've played. Alabama and Georgia would have already played. Oregon has already played Ohio State, so obviously they would massage those around. For people that don't know, the 2 semifinal games, and we'll start getting into this as we get closer to the 2 semifinal games, one is in the Orange Bowl and one is in the Cotton Bowl. The national championship game is played in Indianapolis this year, so Orange, Cotton, and Indianapolis. Looking ahead, if Georgia holds serve and stays at #1, the #1 team gets to choose which location. Georgia, if they stayed #1, would most assuredly choose the Orange Bowl over the Cotton Bowl, in my opinion. So it would be Georgia, and whoever they play, they would pick that. So that's kind of how that works ahead. Speaking of Georgia, and not knocking, obviously, this is a great player I'm going to bring up. Jordan Davis is a great interior defensive lineman. It's been fun all year. His name gets thrown around in Heisman talk, and mainly because nobody has really grabbed the Heisman Trophy like it has happened in years gone past. I get a kick, though, out of the Jordan Davis, Georgia defensive tackle for Heisman talk, because I don't think Jordan Davis will win SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So how can you be thrown in for Heisman talk if I don't think Will Anderson will win? If I had to vote, Will Anderson is the Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC. No knock at Jordan Davis, but Will Anderson is the best defensive player maybe in the country, and I think in the SEC. Just throwing that out. Big games coming up week 12, some really big games. The national big game is the highly ranked matchup in the Big Ten. Michigan State, sitting with 1 loss, right in the middle of the whole Big Ten East. Michigan State is at Ohio State. That is a massive game as we are deep into now November when this game comes up Saturday. The huge game this Saturday, Michigan State at Ohio State. Big, big, big game out of the ACC. Wake Forest is at Clemson. Wake Forest is trying to go ahead and knock Clemson out, and nobody in the ACC has done that for a long, long time. Remember, Wake Forest has one loss. Clemson has 2 conference losses. Wake Forest has, let me say this, Wake Forest has 1 overall loss to North Carolina, but that was not a conference loss. So Wake Forest is undefeated in conference play. The North Carolina-Wake Forest game was just a regular season game. They were not scheduled to play in the ACC this year. They just went out and scheduled each other as a non-conference game. So Wake Forest can go ahead and finally, if you're the rest of the ACC, they can finally kick Clemson to sleep. Wake Forest, a big win Saturday night over NC State. Iowa State at Oklahoma. How does Oklahoma rebound? They're still in the mix in the Big 12 and possibly nationally, but Oklahoma, they've just seem like something is off a tick, and they go down to Baylor. Baylor really dominated that game. The Big 12 is a lot of fun. 3 teams all in the mix now: Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. Baylor and Oklahoma State have already played. Oak State has beaten Baylor. Baylor has beaten Oklahoma. You see how that's playing out. Arkansas is at Alabama. They can all but close it out. Alabama needs 1 more win in conference play. Mathematically, they could lose 2, and Ole Miss could sneak in, but Alabama just about to close the door on the West. Arkansas at Bama Saturday. We've talked a lot about Florida at Missouri. 4 o'clock kickoff. Tough game. They're going to run the ball. They be in Missouri downhill, and if Florida doesn't have the want to, I think it'll be a long day trying to tackle that big bruising running back baddie for Missouri. Virginia Tech at Miami. How do the Canes respond? Man on by a thread, I think, with his coaching tenure at Miami. The Canes way behind in the first half. Huge rally. Take control of the game. They're up 28-20. Looks like they're going to win. They give up 2 or 3 big passes to the Noles. The Noles bang it in and win at the buzzer. Virginia Tech at Miami. Boy, the natives are restless down in Coral Gables. Oklahoma State is at Texas Tech. Texas Tech with a new coach. UCLA at USC. USC obviously fired their coach Helton earlier in the year. UCLA needs to win that game. Chip Kelly, it could finish off start finishing off a pretty good 4th year for Chip Kelly, but he needs to. Chip Kelly and UCLA, they don't need to lose to their crosstown rival with an interim coach. UCLA at USC. Florida State at Boston College. That'll be a tough game. Could be chilly. Boston College has their starting quarterback back, but boy, what a nice rebound second half of the season for Florida State. Nothing went right the first half of the year, but FSU has hung in there. Credit Mike Norvell. Credit their offense. They've schemed things to fit their quarterback, Travis. FSU. If the Noles were to win out, you talk about a great second year for Mike Norvell, particularly where they would have been coming from. So there you have it. Let me throw this out for people watching and our podcasters. I have made my stance on Dan Mullen several weeks ago. I have pinned that. I've clipped that out from a previous show from a couple weeks ago, and that is pinned at the top of our College Sports Today Facebook page. You scroll down just a hair. I've pinned it to the top. You will get my entire dissertation on where I think Dan Mullen is at and where this should go, Dan Mullen and the Florida coaching job. Now, I made all those comments, and I stand by them. You'll hear them if you watch that, and then you'll hear me say, I hope I'm wrong. But remember, those comments, if you go to the Facebook page, College Sports Today, it's pinned to the top. Those comments were made before the debacle in Columbia, South Carolina. Just keep that in mind, and feel free to share that with anyone. So there you have it. That'll wrap it up for a Monday edition. Thanks to all the great sponsors, including these guys that really make it happen. College Sports Today will be back on Friday, 11 a.m. We will look at Week 12, make our picks, our Safe Harbor Seafood picks, coming up Friday. We hope to see you then.